Now, welcome to this class of on hematinics and erythropoietin. These are the agents which are responsible for the formation of blood. And erythropoietin is a hormone which is released from the kidney and it mediates the synthesis of red blood cells. Before we start the drugs or the treatment of anemia, what is anemia? Anemia can be defined as a reduction in the hemoglobin, hematocrit, or red cell number. In physiologic terms, anemia is any disorder in which person suffers from tissue hypoxia. It means if we see by the biochemical means it is decreased hemoglobin, hematocrit, or red cell in number, whereas signs and symptoms the person suffering due to tissue hypoxic symptoms. The drugs which are used to treat the anemia are iron, vitamin B12, folic acid, and erythropoietin. Iron, it is one of the important minerals which is required by the body. Human body contains average of 3.5 gram of iron. The total daily normal diet should contain 10 to 20 milligram of iron. Out of it, around 10 to 20% is absorbed. So, the daily intake is 10 to 20 milligram, but out of this, 1 to 2 milligram per day is absorbed. Requirement is 0.5 to 1 milligram in case of males and 1 to 2 milligram in case of females. It is higher due to loss of blood during the menstruation in females, and children require 25 microgram per kg of weight. Infants require much higher, around 60 microgram per kg of body weight iron daily. Importance of iron: it is useful for the formation of blood. Iron forms the nucleus of the iron porphyrin heme ring and it combines with globin chains to form the hemoglobin. Heme ring plus globin is equals to hemoglobin, and iron is a component of heme ring. The deficiency of iron produces microcytic hypochromic type of anemia, whereas folic acid and B12 produce macrocytic, means larger size of a type of anemia. Iron deficiency anemia, sign symptoms of presentation are pallor, fatigue, dizziness, exertional dyspnea. The loss iron deficiency can be due to deficiency in diet, decreased absorption, transport, storage, or excessive loss from the body in form of blood loss. 100 milligram of blood loses 50 milligram of iron. Worm infestation, parasites which feed on the human blood, they also cause the iron deficiency type of anemia. Absorption is from the duodenum and jejunum. We have iron in two forms, heme and non-heme. Heme is the reduced form and non-heme iron is the oxidized, means Fe plus 3, whereas heme is Fe plus 2. Absorption is increased by acids by increasing the dissolution, and ascorbic acid, amino acids with sulfhydryl group, succinic acid, which are the reducing agents. These are the acids which are reducing agents, and they convert ferric into ferrous form, and absorption is increased. Whereas absorption is decreased by phosphates, phytates, tetracycline, food, The protein responsible for the transportation of iron across the intestinal epithelial cells is known as divalent metal transporter 1. Divalent because iron here is Fe plus 2. The absorbed iron is used for the blood cell synthesis, RBC synthesis in bone marrow, a larger part. Iron homeostasis is regulated by intestinal absorption. If there is sufficient amount of iron in the body, then the absorption is less. It is known as curtain, iron curtain. And if it is less in the body, there is deficiency, more of iron is absorbed. Once the iron is absorbed, there is no physiologic mechanism for excretion of excess iron from the body except in blood loss. So if excess of iron is absorbed, then it will keeps on accumulating, causing the hemosiderosis, also known as bronze diabetes. It has nothing to do with the glucose levels but with the iron level, and it produces the bronze colored coloration of the skin, so it is known as bronze diabetes. Daily, this is the summary of what we have discussed. Daily diet contains 10 to 20 milligram iron. Out of it, 1 to 2 milligram is absorbed. Most of it is taken by the bone marrow for the hemoglobin synthesis. 75%. Transferrin is the uh, protein which is responsible for the transportation. 10 to 20% is accumulated in liver and heart. 5 to 10% is used in other processes, and the same 1 to 2 milligram per day is lost from the desquamation of epithelium. No excretion mechanism for iron except the loss from the cells in form of desquamation. So excess of iron absorbed produces the bronze diabetes. Now how it is transported across the membrane, intestinal membrane. On the extreme left, we can see the lumen of GIT, food iron present in the food, organic acids, they free it from the other food. Ferric iron is reduced by ascorbic acid cysteine into the ferrous iron. Then ferrous iron is transported across the membrane and enter into the mucosal cells. Mucosal cells, ferrous is converted into ferric again with the help of ferroxidase enzyme, and it combines with the apoferritin to form the ferritin. Then ferroreductase reduce it again to the ferrous form, and it is absorbed. It reaches into the plasma. Plasma it is acted upon by the ceruloplasmin or ferroxidase 2 and again oxidized to ferric form, where it combines with the apotransferrin, which is the main transporter protein, and in the form of transferrin it is delivered to the tissues. In liver and spleen, excess of iron it is converted into ferritin and hemosiderin. In bone marrow, muscle and other tissues it is utilized. So most absorbed iron is transported to bloodstream bound to the glycoprotein transferrin. Transferrin is the carrier protein which transports it to the tissues. It binds only 2 iron atoms. Normally 20 to 45% of the transferrin binding sites are filled, means they are occupied. It is measured as percent transferrin saturation. Transferrin can combine with only 2 iron atoms, but ferritin which is the stored form, it can store up to 4,000 iron atoms in a single molecule. Transferrin is the main transporter protein, whereas ferritin is the storage molecule. Sorry. When excess dietary iron is absorbed, the body responds by producing more ferritin to facilitate iron storage. Ferritin curtain and mucosal block. When excess of ferritin is there, it will body does not require any more for this blood formation. Then the mucosal cell of the intestine, where it was initially absorbed from the lumen, will keep the excess of iron within that cell itself and will not transport it to the plasma. This is called mucosal block. Hemosiderosis or bronze diabetes is excess of stored iron in the form of ferritin in liver and spleen, and it causes the bronze diabetes. Ferritin molecules store, as I have already told you, they can store thousands of iron atoms within their mineral core. When excess dietary iron is absorbed, the body responds by producing more ferritin to facilitate iron storage. Now, this was about the transportation, absorption, daily dose. Daily dose was 10 to 20 milligram, whereas 1 to 2 milligram is absorbed by the transferrin. It reaches to the other tissues and is stored in the form of excess of iron is stored in the form of ferritin and hemosiderin. Excess causes the bronze diabetes. Now, if there is deficiency of iron, anemia, then we can give either to the oral or the parenteral formulation of iron. Oral, it has to be given 3 to 4 months after correction of the iron loss. Common side effects of oral therapy are nausea, abdominal cramps, epigastric discomfort, constipation or diarrhea. Both are possible with this oral iron therapy depending on the person to person. These drugs are usually dose related and can be overcome by either by decreasing the dose or taking with or after the meals. Oral formulations where we have ferrous as well as ferric form. Ferrous sulfate, it is the most common form. For treatment, 200 milligram elemental iron per day is taken in the form of 3 tablets of around 60 milligram each after the 3 major meals, and prophylactically 30 milligram per day is taken. In the ferric form, we have hydroxide, ammonium citrate and carbonyl iron. Carbonyl iron has the highest quantity of iron. These are the tablets: ferrous sulfate, fumarate, ferrous salts. 100 milligram provides 20% of elemental iron. Maximum in fumarate. Parenteral. Now, parenteral iron therapy, it is reserved for the persons who cannot take the oral iron or where oral iron we require the quick action. For patients with extensive chronic blood loss who cannot be maintained with oral iron alone, previous small bowel resection, because it is absorbed from the duodenum and jejunum. So if there is no small bowel resection is there and the site of absorption is not available, inflammatory bowel disease, malabsorption syndrome, and post-gastrectomic conditions where acid is not present. Parenterally, we can give the iron dextran, sorbitol, iron sucrose complex and iron carboxymaltose. Before giving the iron by parenteral route, here you can see that they are organic salts. Iron is mineral, and dextran, sorbitol, sucrose, carboxymaltose, they all are organic. Formula for the total requirement is 4.4 into the body weight in kilogram into hemoglobin deficit. Suppose the normal level of female hemoglobin in females is 12, and if it is 8, then we have to multiply by the factor 4, and total, if the body weight was 55 kg, then 4.4 into 55 into 4, that will be the total iron requirement. Preparations available are iron dextrans, sucrose, carboxymaltose, sorbitol citrate. Out of it, sorbitol citrate can be given only by the IM route, dextran by IV and IM both, and sucrose carboxymaltose by the IV route only. Iron dextran, it is given by both IV and IM route, and it is a complex of ferric hydroxide. It is not a ferrous, it is ferric hydroxide and dextran. Deep IM or IV. It is given by Z technique, and in the buttocks or any part muscle, means it is not given at the same site, but a little bit different from others, and the maximum dose is given 2 ml per day. IV, if we give it IV, it will not cause the pain because vessels are not sensitive to pain. Intravascular side effects are headache, lightheadedness, fever, arthralgia, nausea, vomiting, back pain, bronchospasm, anaphylaxis, all with the IV related preparations. Hypersensitivity reactions may develop, so we always give a test dose of iron dextran, because dextran, it may cause the hypersensitivity reaction before giving the full dose. Iron sucrose complex and iron carboxymaltose, they are given by IV only. They are less likely to cause hypersensitivity. Sorbitol is given by IM, contraindicated in kidney because of the sorbitol. Now, if excess of iron is taken, it causes the iron poisoning. More than 60 milligram per kilogram iron can cause the iron poisoning. Usual doses. Now, treatment for decreasing the absorption. So, first we do the gastric lavage with sodium bicarbonate, because acid increases the absorption. So, if you wash the stomach with bicarbonate, it will decrease the absorption also. Egg yolk, milk, these also decrease the absorption because of the phosphate present in them. And desferrioxamine, it is the antidote. D means remove, ferrioxamine means iron. It is given by intramuscular route, 50 milligram per kilogram every 4 to 6 hours, or 10 to 15 milligram per kilogram per hour. Calcium editate can also be given, like calcium is present in milk, decreasing the absorption, DTK, but BAL, British anti-lucent agent, is contraindicated. Folic acid and B12. This was all about the iron. Here we studied the daily dose, requirement, absorption, storage, preparations available, ferrous, ferric, oral dose 200 milligram capsule of elemental iron per day in divided doses, parenteral preparations, Z technique, IM, IV preparations, and iron poisoning. Next hematinic group is folic acid and B12. They are taken together because they have overlapping mechanism of action. B12 has one additional mechanism. Both are required for the DNA synthesis and affect the cell division. Folic acid and B12, deficiency of either of them causes the megaloblastic type of anemia, where iron deficiency was producing माइक्रोसिटिक्स, छोटे सेल थे उसमें, और इसमें मैक्रोसिटिक बड़े सेल्स हैं, टाइप ऑफ एनीमिया. बट B12 deficiency also affects the nerve which is responsible for the neuropathy. Both of them cause the megaloblastic anemia. B12 is a cobalamin compound, hydroxycobalamin. Sources are liver, kidneys, sea fish, egg yolk. All cobalamins, dietary and therapeutic, must be converted to methylcobalamin and 5-deoxyadenosylcobalamin for activity. So methylcobalamin is the main. B12, we have hydroxycobalamin, methylcobalamin and cyanocobalamin. All of them are converted into the methylcobalamin for their action. The daily requirement is 1 to 3 microgram in pregnancy, very small amount, and in therapeutic dose we give the injection 100 to 1000 microgram per day. Vitamin B12 is cobalamin, and it is available in the 3 forms: cyano, hydroxy and methylcobalamin. Injections are available given IM. Now this is the mechanism of action. As in the upper part you can see, homocysteine is converted into methionine with the help of methylcobalamin. Methyl B12, and this methionine, it converts the tetrahydrofolic acid to formyl, transfers the formyl group to form the tetrahydrofolic acid, folate polyglutamate formation, purine and pyridine. Ultimately, basically, what is there? It has a role in the DNA synthesis by converting the homocysteine to methionine, which acts as a donor of formyl group. In the lower part, the upper part is common to both B12 and folic acid. It is showing the integration. Folic acid is tetrahydrofolate acid, and they both are interlinked and both are responsible for the DNA synthesis, whereas in the lower part, methylmalonyl coenzyme A is converted into succinyl coenzyme A, and it has role in the fatty acid synthesis in neural tissue, and this is peculiar feature of B12. So deficiency of vitamin B12 will also affect the synthesis of myelin in neural tissue, and it is responsible for the CNS related signs and symptoms, whereas both folic acid and B12 have role in DNA synthesis. Nerves are affected only by the B12. Actions of B12 is required for conversion to homocysteine to methionine. B12 is required for two main biochemical reactions as shown in above. Conversion of methyl tetrahydrofolate to tetrahydrofolate. Isomerization of methylmalonyl coenzyme A to succinyl coenzyme A. So here you can see what has been written below. And uses of vitamin B12. It is given by injection as hydroxycobalamin IM. Lifelong treatment is required in case of pernicious anemia, where there is deficiency of seed secretion, which is known as intrinsic factor. B12 is taken from outside, that is why it is known as extrinsic factor. Lifelong we have to give the vitamin B12 because it will not be absorbed. Prophylactically, after surgical removal of the site of production of intrinsic factor. Folic acid dietary sources include liver, green vegetables, eggs, milk, gut flora. It is also synthesized by the gut flora. Therapeutic doses 1 to 5 milligram per day. Metabolic functions. Folic acid is inactive, so for activity, folate must be in the form tetrahydrofolate form, which is maintained by dihydrofolate reductase. Folate antagonists, they act by inhibiting the dihydrofolate reductase. ठीक है. Folic acid as such is not very effective. It has to be reduced by this reductase enzyme by adding the 4 hydrogen atoms, and if this reduction is inhibited, then it acts as folate antagonist. Folate antagonist will be useful in to decrease the excess of DNA synthesis. So cytophorum factor methotrexate rescue by folinic acid. Folates are especially important for the conversion of uricylate to thymidylate, and it is again rate limiting step in mammalian DNA synthesis. Comparison of the B12 and folic acid. B12 is both causes the megaloblastic anemia. By physiologically, we cannot distinguish between these two, but additional neurological features are present in B12 deficiency due to combined degeneration of spinal cord and peripheral neuritis, whereas glossitis, GIT disturbances, epithelial damage, they are present in both. B12 में mental changes, poor memory, hallucinations, they are also present, but neurological symptoms are absent in folic acid deficiency. But whenever it is always good to add B12 along with it folic acid, because if given only the folic acid, it can it can expose the suboptimal hidden B12 deficiency and can aggravate the neurological symptoms. So it is always better to give them together. Uses of folic acids, they are used in treatment of megaloblastic anemia, increased demand in pregnancy, lactation, so we give it prophylactically also in these conditions. Same mechanism of action, tetrahydrofolate form, then formyl tetrahydrofolate, and this formyl group is given by the methionine. B12 is responsible for the conversion of methyl tetrahydrofolate to tetrahydrofolate. Now we are done with the 3 parts: iron, folic acid, B12 deficiency. B12 and folic acid, they have no distinguish, we cannot distinguish except the neurological symptoms which are present in B12. In pernicious anemia, there is decrease, we have to give B12 outside, from outside lifelong. Now the fourth one are hematopoietic growth factors. They are numerous millions of cells are synthesized every minute. And for it, erythropoietin is required. It is a hormone which is synthesized mainly by the kidney, 85%, and rest 15% from the liver. It stimulates the formation of erythrocytes in the bone marrow. Erythropoietin in kidney diseases, its secretion is reduced and it causes the anemia in chronic diseases. Erythropoietin, then we have to supply from outside, and it is produced by erythropoietin hormone by the recombinant technology available as epoetin alpha and beta. It has to be given subcutaneously or intravenously 3 times a week. 1 milligram per deciliter of hemoglobin per week increase is sufficient to show that erythropoiesis is going on at appropriate rate. Uses of erythropoietin are anemia due to chronic renal failure where erythropoietin is not synthesized, cancer chemotherapy where we want to increase the pace of cell synthesis, for especially in anemia, AIDS, premature infants, blood transfusion. Adverse reactions are like flu-like symptoms, mild hypertension, all with the IV doses mainly. Colony stimulating factors are also given. Erythropoietin was focusing mainly on the erythrocytes, and colony stimulating factors, they are targeting the granulocytes also. G for granulocyte. Colony stimulating factors, they are produced by the monocytes macrophages available as filgrastim. Gra is granulocyte. Hematopoietic growth factors, erythropoietin, colony stimulating factor G for grastim, and for granulocyte and monocyte both for molgrastim. MO for monocyte and GRA for granulocytes. They are given IV or subcutaneously all. So clinical uses of colony stimulating factors are to reduce the severity and duration of neutropenia induced by cytotoxic drug during cancer chemotherapy and following bone marrow transplant, for persistent neutropenia and advanced HIV infection, may have a role in treatment of aplastic anemia, and for interleukin 11 as megakaryocyte growth factor. So this was about the fourth hematinic, erythropoietin and granulocyte colony stimulating factors, granulocyte monocyte stimulating factors, and lastly we have vitamins A, D, E and K, B group hematopoietic B complex vitamins, folic acid, cyanocobalamin, ascorbic acid, vitamin C, non-B complex. Vitamin C is again available in dietary sources. It is added to hematinic formulations. So in this class we discussed about the hematinics. Hematinics are basically, they have a role in the formation of blood cells. Iron, B12 and folic acid, they are especially important in cases of RBC and hormone erythropoietin for the formation of red blood cells, main oxygen carrying blood cell in the body, and the other granulocytes and monocyte colony stimulating factors are also important. They are used in where, especially in chemotherapy, in HIV patients, aplastic anemia, whereas iron deficiency is one of the most common problems, especially in developed countries. Here, iron can be given by the oral as well as parenteral route. Usually, oral route is preferred, but for the faster action and conditions where absorption is compromised, we go for the parenteral route. Paras and paracetamol combinations are available. Paras are mainly for the oral use and paras are mainly for the parenteral. Thank you.